Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the video. I'm GetGoodGuy, and as many of you will know, Sundan is now finally playable on both Conquest and Breakthrough, essentially meaning you can now play large-scale and small-scale games in this desert environment. It was, of course, delayed massively, so is it actually ready for release now? And was it worth waiting 3 whole months for? No. Here's the board of awesome for the— yeah, alright, that joke's not particularly original anymore, but my opinion is that no map can possibly be worth waiting 3 whole months for past its advertised launch date. But I can put that feeling somewhat aside to talk about it today, and be sure to let me know in the comments below what you think of Sundan on these 2 modes. And it is an interesting one. Sundan is a map that splits the community in a way I hadn't really expected. For example, Hamada has a small section of the community that likes it, but overall, it's generally seen as a fairly universally disliked map on most modes. The same goes for Fiel, but Sundan is getting some genuine support from a reasonably sizable chunk of players. And that's fine. In fact, that's cool. In some ways, that's actually encouraging, and I'll get to why in this video. But to lead off and condense this down simply, delays aside, any content that may help to bring any amount of players back to the game, or playing more regularly, is an objectively good thing for the rest of the players who want to keep playing this game. More players means fuller lobbies, better connections, more reasons for DICE and EA to try to turn this around, and all that kind of stuff. This doesn't mean that everything is all sunshine and rainbows though, not even close. The fact that the map released in the state it's in after 3 extra months of tuning is kind of embarrassing if I'm being honest, something else we'll discuss later on. But why is this map causing so much disagreement? Well, let me set expectations first. A lot of what I do is very much based around my own opinion because, well, that's what I have to work with, but I try to make it clear when things are objective and subjective. So, when I played Sundan on stream after a few games, I basically decided openly that it was bad, and switched out of the Sundan only playlist. Upon reflection, I've decided that this was unfair. What I should have said is that Sundan is bad for me and what I enjoy, at least when it comes to Conquest. Side point, you'll be seeing both Conquest and Breakthrough gameplay off the map in this video. They play pretty differently the vast majority of the time, although I probably won't be lining them up with what I'm saying because I'm going to flick between the 2. I'm just going to play one after the other. So on Conquest specifically, the size, scope, scale of the map, whatever you want to call it, is exactly what some players do want. They want that massive open plain and the feeling of being able to do whatever they like. And I can now totally see and accept that. I'm not going to bash anything about that now I've thought about it. There is no denying that this map is different from most of the maps in the game. I see it compared most often to Hamada and Panzerstorm, and that's about it. Now, they are maps that I also don't enjoy. Hamada does have some genuine issues though, and Panzerstorm had to be altered because of its problems. But Sundan is pretty much okay for what it's supposed to offer, I feel, apart from maybe you could add a few more points of interest in the really open areas. But overall, it's a slower playing experience generally. It's good for the aforementioned snipers and prone players, and also it's not impossible to play in the style that I generally enjoy, faster, more aggressive, higher amounts of action and such like, but it is absolutely more difficult to get that out of this map, and so it's not really for me. And I say that's okay, because really we shouldn't have all the same kinds of map in the game, not at all. And if I'm seeing a good level of positivity about the map, if I'm seeing people interested in playing it, or coming back to the game to try it out, etc., then I say fair play. I don't have to play the map if I don't want to, and those that do want to can do. And for those raging about how bad this map is, it's not that I don't understand, and you are welcome to your opinion, it probably doesn't fit you either. I'm just saying, on this occasion, I can see both sides. Something I haven't mentioned is that, of course, it makes it an attractive proposition for those who enjoy vehicle gameplay. Once again, that's not me, but wide open expanses just scream out for tanks and planes. I'm not going to bring any vehicle balancing aspects to this discussion, such as tanks being super lethal from far, and basically sucking up close, creating a weird tank gameplay loop, as that's a game-wide situation rather than being Sundan specific, so it's kind of irrelevant. But yeah, this is the most I've ever really been killed by planes and tanks on Battlefield 5, so there's clearly a different experience on offer. As for Breakthrough though, I kind of face-palmed at this one as there's such obvious game design flaws that I can barely believe professional developers put out. And I honestly don't mean that as an insult. I don't want anyone to be offended. Everything is an opportunity to learn and improve. I myself make mistakes also. What I am saying is that I personally would have flagged up some serious issues about the first sector of Breakthrough on this map. And I'm confident in saying there's a fairly solid list of others who could have done the same thing. In future, maybe you need such people people on board to converse with about such decisions. It's a single flag start, with nothing but a wide open expanse on one side and a thin sliver of land on the other. The defending side can set up and defend the points from any number of angles, and they can also push right up to the cliff that the attackers have to come down or go around in order to get to the flag. This is appalling design. It focuses the whole defending team on exactly where all of the attackers have to come from, and they have almost no cover to use whilst trying to attack the flag. And also there's no B flag to push in order to split attention. Nothing, just awful game design. In fact, I've played that map a few times on Breakthrough now, and as a defender, I've only experienced the game after that sector one single time. And that was when I spawned in after my team had already lost that flag anyway. I said to my girlfriend as we were playing that if you have just one competent player on the defending side who can check important points and watch the flow of battle, your chances of winning as a defender on that first flag are extremely high, which is pretty ridiculous. The rest of Breakthrough on that map can be fun, not exactly my kind of thing, but I can see why some players would really enjoy it, so I'm cool with that. It's very large and wide open again, although it does play differently to Conquest, but it's so big that I managed to die for not retreating fast enough at one point, due to not knowing where I was going and just how large the areas are, which was definitely a first for me, but at least now I know. I do find it interesting that Frontlines on Hamada was criticized for having such wide open areas with little cover between flags though, and now we have essentially the same thing on our Sundan Breakthrough in a lot of ways, but I guess that's a side issue not worth getting into here. So Conquest gets a yes from me, even though I'm not a fan of it, and Breakthrough gets a massive no, but it would likely become a yes if they fix that terrible first sector, which stops the vast majority of players from actually experiencing the full length of the mode. So this could feasibly be a yes for both modes at some point. And does this make El Sundan worth waiting 3 months for? Hell no. But you already knew that from what I said earlier. It isn't helped though by performance issues, which aren't acceptable after a 3-month delay. There are frame rate drops, and you may have seen some of those in the footage today. There's graphical glitches, there's still windows you can't jump through reliably, and all kinds of stuff like that. So that's very disappointing, and it's this kind of stuff that really holds back Battlefield 5 in a lot of ways. And if we open this discussion up to the whole update we just had, there are too many bugs and issues still making their way into the game. I really can see how Battlefield 5 could recover to become a great experience. I mean that, but I just don't know if they can pull it off. And I'm having real doubts about the amount of resources and manpower they have going into this game. There are crashes happening, spectator mode has some huge stutter problems, pressing the Xbox button on your controller, if you're playing on Xbox, can cause the game to crash as well, and just honestly so many random issues that have no place in a AAA title now not that far off a year after its launch. Get rid of such issues and clear up your communication, and this game could have been pretty awesome, you know? Not the Battlefield that everyone wanted, and you can't please everyone anyway, but it could have been a far better experience than we've had so far. Will the Pacific pull it all together? Well, as I said in my last video, I see no reason to believe that DICE will suddenly be able to release something without large-scale issues, but I'll hope for the best. So in summary, El Sundan has been a real mess. It's taken too long to come out for these modes, it's released in a state performance-wise that's kinda laughable, and it has super poor design for the opening of Breakthrough. But I can appreciate what they've tried to make, and why some people really like it. And now, even though it doesn't really cater to how I like to play, I can say that I no longer currently really dislike it. I'm not going to go out of my way to play it much, but I can enjoy myself on it, so I give it a thumbs up if I'm looking purely at the map itself. It's got that wide open, do whatever old school Battlefield kind of vibe that I hear people talk about from previous titles, so I'm down for it for the parts of the community that want it. And so that's my rundown of El Sundan 3 months after it was supposed to be available for larger modes. I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to let me know what you think of El Sundan in the comments below. If you did have a good time here, then it would be great if you'd hit the like button for me. It really does help, I promise you. Subscribe and turn on notifications if you want to stay up to date. Follow me on Mixer at mixer.com/GetGoodGuy. There's a link to that in the description. And while you're down there, feel free to join my Discord as well. Here's the Board of Awesome for the epic people who support the channel on Patreon. They're all absolute heroes, and I love them all deeply and, of course, often. If you want to join them on the Board of Awesome, the link to the Patreon page is in the description and a pinned comment. But with that all said, I'm GetGoodGuy, and I'll see you next time. Laters. that then goes missing or is delayed past the expected date. To reiterate, the lack of promised communication about this until basically the deadline for it being delivered is totally unacceptable and only further pushes the community away from the game. Why are they doing this? Are we not tired of hearing that they understand the missteps they've made